Friday, 31st. Share here. Let's see, what pages does this make sense to share it to? Hopefully it makes sense to share it to your friends. I'm sharing to mine. I always share to mine. I got no secrets. Nothing I hide. I have absolutely nothing to hide from my family and friends. I'm trying to change the world. I'm trying to make my world more inclusive, not exclusive. Well, okay, say that the right way. I'm not trying to change the world. We're trying to transform the world, right? Someone's always trying to change the world. The world needs changing. The world needs transformation. We need to transform the creatures that are on it. We need to transform the model. We need sustainable root change, that constant change that war can bring about. Good morning, everybody. So I share everywhere. I'm the same person everywhere I go. Now, I honestly modified my communication methods because you can communicate with certain people easier if you can relate to them a little bit. Everywhere I go, all around this little matrix planet, I'm the same person. All right, good morning. Let me see if I can get the YouTube's not on. YouTube's not on. Oh, wait. YouTube. What happened to YouTube? But they're gonna turn me off permanently, Brother Augustus. I appreciate you being over there, holding down the fort. You and Brother Kevin and a couple others. All right, let me turn YouTube. Good morning. Oh man, I was just so deep in it this morning, Augustus. Ooh. I was so deep. Sag Guru. Who kicked it off? Somebody kicked it off. They sent me something. Y'all blew me away this morning. I didn't even have time. I had zero time nor interest in looking at your news. I have no idea what's happening in the whole Matrix news today. And I honestly don't care. There were so many deep things. I posted them. I try to post them over on my page, and sometimes I try to share the things that people send me I think that are just very powerful that I think we need to think about. What was that first brother's name? Oh man, who sent me that? Kay sent me that. There's so many philosophers and gurus out there that are just freaking phenomenal. His name, oh yeah, ooh, I was on it this morning. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at all the talks and lectures. I listened to all that this morning. Oh yeah, I started off the day with Alan Watts. Did y'all watch that? I'll post a link. I got goosebumps on that one. Alan Watts was not playing. What was the name of that talk? It was called How to See Through the Game. Secret to Life. Ooh, seeing through the game, seeing through the matrix. That all fits together. My mind just gets discombobulated because I went from him, Alan Watts, over to Nikola Tesla and gravity and what is it, and how really, what the Tesla towers really were and how gravity interacts with us. That the Tesla towers actually weren't towers to power, but the theory now more so is they are receivers to receive RF waves, not AC or DC. Powerful things, and what gravity is. That we're in. I'm mixing together so many things in my head. Sometimes I think people are just like, I don't know what the hell he's doing. But I think other people kind of get it. They kind of get it because it's all related, it's all interactive. We're lost in this matrix thing. That gravity actually doesn't pull us down. It's more of a pushing force of light, waves that interact with our atoms, the space between them more so. And they, I'm not going to say it the right way, but they electrify us to a degree in a way that allows us to be pulled to greater bodies with more electron, neutron, those things happening. But how we really don't know what the world really is. We're not really looking at matter. We're looking at energy and wave energy. Hang on, let me turn the music down. It started too quick. I was telling y'all the stuff I was watching this morning. So I bounced around Nikola Tesla. Powerful, trying to understand. I used to play my own little magnetism, trying to create my own free energy when I was a kid. So I went from that Nikola Tesla over to, he was definitely the greatest threat to the Matrix. in our lifetimes or of our generations, he by far was the greatest threat, because he was going to break apart one of the greatest tools of the matrix, which is energy. And I bounced from Nikola Tesla over to Jacques Fresco's talking about scientific responsibility, that we really don't have science. We have nations and scientists that can only operate from within corporations and within nations, within power structures that break science. Science can't be contained. It's not really science if it's in a box. It's not really science if you got to hide some of it. It's not really science if you can't share, if it's not open source. It's not really science. It's corporation, nationalistic identity based in kind of some scientific-ish things for power and control and domination and conflict with others. So that was a great talk from Jacques Fresco. And I shot on over to Peter Joseph and Zeitgeist movement. He was answering some questions in terms of how do we move forward, solutions. Why do I listen to all these people? They're all my teachers. All my teachers. All my teachers. None of them better than me. Oh, but I'm not done. I'm not done. And I jumped over to Michio Kaku and his visions of the future. What y'all listen to this morning? What y'all listen to? I hadn't heard listen to R. Kelly, and I was listening to a little ACD. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. You know, we all are a part of this thing, and not everybody has time to do this, that, and the other, and go do lectures and talks. This is what I do, though. And I bounced from Michio Kaku over to Sag Guru, and he just brought it home, as he always does. That brother ain't playing. Brother ain't here to play with you. Let me get my comments up. So I said all that to say, I have no idea what's in the news, and I don't really care. Because, I mean, what is news anyway? I got to post this real quick so I can see the comments now. Just give me a minute, let me process this thought before I post it, get me in trouble in Facebook. I think about things. It's so hard to post on Facebook because I have these thoughts, right? And they're based in like what I call my brain, my hive brain. All of y'all are like little neurons in my brain. Y'all, I use y'all and I connect y'all like dendrite connections, and all of your wisdom like bubbles up into something, and it gives me a brain thought, and it's kind of like gas or something. It goes up, it's like, it ends up on my status, and that's what my status is. Outside of the AI controlling it, because it gives me information too. AI is a little, there's a little neuron in there too. So hang on, let me what am I saying here? Because it all wrapped up in Sag Guru. And I think I posted most of those talks on my page. If not, I'll post them on here if you want to try to make sense of all the crap that's up here. It just brought me into a thought about the Matrix and how we empower the Matrix, how we keep it going and rolling and thriving and keeping it powerful. The fact that we limit our identities, and we should not be empowering creatures with limited identity to design the world or do anything. We should even educate, because this is one of Sag Guru's points, was that we give children identities and then we educate them, we empower them to go out and take limited identities in a world where identities don't even exist to do destruction. Of course, they mean well. They mean well. They go out there, this is who I am, and mommy and daddy said I'm this, and my nation said I'm this, and my religion, and I'm proud of this, and they go out and destroy the world. They go out and begin their conflict. They embracing the Matrix, de-evolving the world back to Cro-Magnon times, keeping alive survival of the fittest. And that's where it kind of ended up this morning on Sag Guru. And I believe I posted his talk, I don't know, powerful talk. And he was talking, I think this was in Silicon Valley somewhere. What was his talk called? Developing an inclusive consciousness. Right? Like this all-inclusive idea we were talking about last week, that we're not individuals. We are part of a collective consciousness. And I was thinking about, how do you transform the world? Well, you start with yourself. You look in the mirror, and then you don't do anything to anybody else. You just include other people. You start with yourself, you evolve yourself, you move forward. You start breaking down the Matrix's identities, the Matrix's subhumanisms, the Matrix's apathy and indifference to get you in conflict with other people. You break apart the crap that you're given, and then you include more people in your changes, right? You include more people in the things that you're fixing and tweaking and upgrading how they broke you at birth. And you just include more people. Hopefully people who just don't look anything like you, people who aren't from anywhere from you, people who completely disagree with everything. And it's hard to do. Lord, is it hard to do? Because indoctrination is about conflict, right? That's why they give identities, because they want you fighting somebody else. And so those people come in, they want to fight you, and you just have to love them. And I think that's how this works, and it's powerful. It's the only way you can transform this planet is by bringing people into your inclusive consciousness circle who don't like you, people who disagree with you, people who will struggle and fight with you. Struggle and fight with me every day. Dang on Democrats and Republicans. Now, I don't know who's in your world. I tell you who's in my world. These Democrats and Republicans getting ready to go out there and vote, watching the news, thinking it's real and it's all perspective. Because what is news anyway? What is news anyway? I was thinking about that this morning. It's always a scout going to that land. And does the scout ever actually get it all right? Does the scout with 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, some bigger than others, and 2 ears, and a limited brain, on limited identity from birth, go to a war zone, go to a place where kids are being genocide, go to a place where Honduras, where femicide exists, and do they ever come back with an all-inclusive report where they got it all, enough to stamp a label and call it news? I don't think so. I personally don't think so. I don't think any of the scouts ever get it right. I think all the news is a lie, and it always is a lie, because no matter how much they come back and they say, oh, the wars are over. Yay, we won, the war is over. There's somebody in a basement somewhere in that same town being raped and killed or chained up or shot, whatever. So they always get it right. It's always perspective. It's always the limited view. And that's the perspective I have. Nobody knows it all. You'll never know it all. There'll never be news because it'll always exclude someone. And so our mark should be constantly trying to become more inclusive, more pulling people into our circle. You know, if your struggle is against that survivalist, that redneck, you need to go find someone and get to know them, get to know their children. If your struggle is against the Israel, you need to get to know them. You get to know why. I know I post some hard stuff on Israel, but I don't hate Israel, right? Not the people, not the nation. I hate all nations. I'm a nation hater. I just don't believe in conflict. I don't believe in identity and conflict. But the people I love, because the people are my family. And when I talk to people from Israel, you can see, well, there was a couple, 2 people I was talking to. There were a couple. I think they were husbands. No, they were brother and sister. And you can see the conflict and the anger and the aggression in their eyes when I tried to talk to them about West Bank and Gaza and a few things that I know from the perspective I got from Brother Rezeg and a few other people who were there. It was hard to talk to them, but you could see the anger and conflict and struggle in their eyes. That it's just indoctrination. It's just limited identity. It's just the matrix. Like something Saj Guru said, and I gotta post this because I can't see the comments. Y'all do this to me every daggone day. It's Friday. I'm supposed to be Freedom Friday. I'm supposed to be enjoying Friday. Y'all got me thinking all deep this morning. I don't even know what they're lying about in the news today. But those conflicts are handed down generation to generation. And Saj Guru said something. He said, about the limited identities in where he's from, and I believe he's from India, correct me if I'm wrong, but how it always is a topic on ISIS. It's not like America where I'm from, where it's always Hispanic and immigrant and black and white and Asian and whatever, some dumb stuff, Christian and Muslim, some other foolish nonsense that the Matrix give. But his was about ISIS, and he was talking about how, you know, he would go and talk, and these are beautiful people with lots of love and passion in their heart. But then they go sit down in these meetings, and you can see the conflict. You can feel that they're going to take that love and that passion and that beauty that they have for their land and their children and their wives and whatever, husbands, and it turns into aggression. He made a point. I think I posted it. post one of these quotes. That's coming to an end. They're not gonna let y'all post quotes no more. They're about to shut that mess down. It's about martyrism. Did I post it? Oh no, this is it right here. This is it right here. I'm sorry. This is it right here. It said everybody who died, and this is it's not a Sage Guru quote. It's just something from all of the stuff my friends put in my head, all the neurons through all of this stuff that we're doing. And some things he said. So this is an exact quote, but this is what I was thinking: is everyone who died for what they believed, they were all great. All great. They were all great. All of them. Everybody who died for what they believed were all great at love. They were all great at passion. Think about the person you can't stand the most. The person who's in conflict with your given identity the most, from wherever you're from, whatever you are. That person who died struggling against your identity, because that's all these all are, just identity struggles, was a great person. Because they had that love. They had that willingness to give their life for a belief. And that the problem isn't the love, the passion, because we need more of that. We kind of group it together and say, that's a bad person. And they're not a bad person. They're powerful, powerful people. Think about what it takes to give up your life for a belief. The problem is always belief. Information, belief. That's our planetary fail. I love it. So I love and thriving on the earth. Not in the West, not where I'm from anymore. Hate thrives. Why does hate thrive? Because we fail at information. We allow limited information to drive who we are. We allow limited information to abuse our love and our passion. We allow that abuse of our love and our passion to abuse other people, and somehow in our minds we think that this is good. We think this goes in the right direction. But anyway, that's what they got my mind. How y'all doing this morning? So, and he kind of brought all of the things that were driving me this morning to think about this whole limited identity thing in the Matrix, and that's how it works, is that we shouldn't be empowering creatures with limited identities. I like that phrase. I used to be a limited, I still am. Actually, I still am. I'm still a limited identity creature. I'm trying to get out of it, but it's not easy to do. That indoctrination runs deep. But we all are given these limited identities. And so my main focus is just me. It's fixing me, growing me up, being mature. When I grow up, you know what I want to be? I want to be all inclusive. But I got to fix me. I got to wipe out all the stuff that these Rothschilds and Rockefellers and conflict and black leaders and white leaders and Christian leaders, and all of this crap that people with significantly limited identities, so much so that they would breed it in other people. They would give it to someone like me. You know, growing up, a child that doesn't know any better. And you give me a limited identity, so I have a limited consciousness, and so I'm not including all the people that they want me to include. And why would they do that? Because they're security guards for the Matrix, because they're believers in the Matrix. They're believers in conflict. They're believers in robbing Peter to pay Paul. That's what politics is to me. That's why I'm, again, put that category in the no vote evangelism. I don't believe in politics. I don't believe in politics. So why would I vote? Politics is the art form of robbing Peter to pay Paul. In a world where it's going to really, really piss Peter off. And so what does Peter do? Peter gets nukes. Peter gets guns. Peter gets knives. And the world we need to build is a world where Peter doesn't need guns and knives, because we stop giving Paul the ability to rob Peter. And that's all politics is. It's just it's a game of apathy. It's a game of the Matrix to get you to play. Some days I don't feel like playing. I don't want to play for the rest of my life. That's why I don't watch any news today, because it's reactionary. Even though I watch it and we just kind of laugh at it, and like just find the holes and see in the media when they're trying to get you to do something or behave a certain way or some outrage or something. But I didn't feel like it today. I didn't feel like playing with the Matrix today. You know, because there are a lot of things we can see, but then there are a lot of things we can't. So you can't watch the news every day and think that's the real world. Remember, it's always a perspective. Even when they're trying to be fair and balanced, it's still going to be very perspective based, because the people who are actually going to scout the land have limited identities. They still literally work for the matrix like we all do. And so it's a trick. It's a trick of robbing Peter to pay Paul. And Peter's your brother too. Peter's your sister. Peter's your cousin. Peter is your baby. Why the hell would we be robbing babies in Yemen and murdering them so Americans here can have universal health care? Why does that make any sense? That's crazy. That's nutty. That's following the matrix. This is why we don't need to change the world. We need to transform the world, not what Sadhguru's do. We need to transform the world at the model level. Peter Joseph's point, the Venus Project's point, Jacques Fresco's point. We need to transform the world. It's model level change. It's not the side effects, model level. And that's how we change the world. I'm gonna look at comments because I'm not going into the news. Did I finish? Power and dominance. That was another topic that came. Power and dominance. I watch all this stuff because I know y'all don't have time. I really don't have time either, but this is my focus, my passion. These are things I love to do. I'm just trying to change myself. And so I got to listen to people who think deeply so I can have some deep thoughts. And then I try to share the bits I thought were powerful. But one of the points that came up in one of those lectures and talks was power and dominance. Right? It's just, it's a concept embraced by weak people. Only weak people need to control anybody else outside their own skin. You know, you have some sort of a psychological insecurity if you feel that you need to control somebody else, if you need to have dominance and power over somebody else's inside their skin. If you ever feel that you need to dominate outside of your own border, your own skin, you've got some insecurity issues that you need to work on. You got some cowardly stuff that lives in your heart that you got to let go, you know. All right, what are y'all talking about before I post? There's just so much in my head, but this is how the Matrix works. The Matrix gives you your avatar and it sends you out to fight other people that have no conflict with you. So it's just a powerful thing. Don't empower people with limited identities. You want to empower, if anything, if they're going to empower anybody, if you believe about empowering others and leaders and stuff like that, then you need to look for those who are evolving in a direction of all-inclusive consciousness when they're trying to include more people, not exclude the Peters. Because there's always a bad guy. That's how you have a leader. They got to scare you, like we were talking about yesterday. They got to fear you into believing the bad guy. Because the bad guy is always bad. They're always wrong. And you must be the good guy, so that means you must always be right. Hashtag free Assange. Go get him, Lori. Lori's holding up the struggle. Holding up the struggle. Well, I see you out there, Brother Walter. Y'all going back and forth on Assange. And Assange, and that's a good example. I mean, he was a martyr. You can't take that away from him. I don't care if he worked for the CIA, the FBI. I don't care nothing about that. I don't care if he's lying, part funny, foul, flip-flop. Everybody who sacrifices themselves for a greater good, intentionally, accidental, fell on it, made a mistake, accidentally created WikiLeaks and released some things that began an anti-war movement, is a great thing. That's a great man. No matter what, well, let's say it's right. It was a great act. And of course, anybody who does anything great is going to come under fire. Anybody who does anything against the Matrix will send other identities after that person. Why? Because the Matrix want to survive. What is the Matrix? I have no idea. I mean, there are multiple Matrixes. Which one you want to talk about? Right? You know, from the idea we might be a simulation to world governments to, you know, within governments and local governments, within religions and races and struggles and rights movements. And these are all matrices of taking identities and getting them to conflict with others because somebody usually at the top wants power. You know, but the minute Assange did something decent, talked about peace, talked about transforming the world into a world where a lot of the matrices will fail, maybe the parent matrix will fail, it's going to fight. It's going to get other people who have identities that are in conflict with Assange to fight with Assange. A person-to-person identity fight. And they forget the concept that all truth is the only way that we actually get to end the matrix. Right? It is that honesty and the truthfulness. It's that factual data, that real science stuff that Jacques Fresco was talking about in his talk. I'm gonna give you a little clip of his talk. It's a little 2-minute blurb where he kind of explained it that, you know, science, we don't have science. You don't have science. We have scientific-ish stuff that's within the realms of geopolitics and corporate greed.
Sciences. There's only science. What we need is an integrated system using the methods of science in all areas, including social management. If you do not have science applied in social management, the system will not work. As long as you have a political government, there is no basis for operating well. There is no way within the economic system that we have today to work problems out. It has to be based on intelligent management of the Earth's resources for all the world's people. Anything less will generate problems. So what industry seeks is positions of advantage. And since they seek that, you cannot have an objective government. Today it's commercial. Science is directed mostly by commercial institutions and universities. It's not that I'm against science. I'm against science being used for a particular advantage group. And if you use the methods of science for any one country, it's slanted toward the advantages of that country. Until we learn to live together on peace on earth and service to all people, medical care, food, everything that they need, you don't have science. You have scientists serving nations for their political and economic advantage. Science can only be applied when there are no vested interests. There can be no science unless it's a global process of taking care of the environment, educating all people to their highest potential, and inviting the contributions of all people.
It's not all-inclusive. It's not science. It's just privilege. That's all it is. It's just privilege. It's you using what you have over someone else to abuse them. And besides the fact, it's not really going to get anywhere because it's not open source. It's not all-inclusive. It's not being tested by all the peers and all the scientific minds. It's just being used for privilege and politics. It's just being used for greed of corporations. And this is why, you know, you say, you're an anti-vaxxer. I'm not anti-vax. I just know it's not science. You know, I know it's just corporations trying to sell a product. It could be inclusively utilized to help everybody, but it's not. It's not being used to help children. It's not being used for herd immunity. It's just being used to control people. It's being used to break natural immunity so that corporations can sell products to 7 billion people 4 or 5 times throughout their life and getting constant booster shots. And all it's going to do is bring about the end. It's just another matrix for control. You know, it's worked pretty great without them. There was something else that was there. Going back to Alan Watts. Ghosts. Ghosts. That's how he started out his talk. And again, I'll post it so you can watch the whole thing. But I think his talk was only 10 minutes. Talking about being fearful of ghosts. He said, when you see ghosts, you walk through them. Don't ever stop and stare at a ghost. And I know some people who just, they're not processing. You're already like, ghost ain't real. Which is why I end up on Nikola Tesla. He said he's electricity. He said he's electricity. You know, I don't debate with Nikola Tesla much. Why? Because my whole damn world is based on everything, literally everything in the world, unless you live in a grass hut, is Nikola Tesla, one of the smartest men on this planet ever. So I think he might have been part alien or something. I don't know. But he said he's electricity. It's not even about real ghosts. It's an analogy, an example. If you see a ghost, your fears, you just walk through it. You walk through it. How do you break an intellectual? How do you break a powerful, powerful creature? You just walk through it. You stop and stare at the ghost, you are quite literally empowering it. Whatever your fears are, you're making it worse. You're adding side effects. You're creating more problems. You're creating anxiety. You're creating stress. You're taking a problem that might have just been a puff of smoke you need to walk through, and you just made it into a monster. You manifested it. You manifested a real problem where there just was a ghost you're supposed to walk through. When you don't have any fear and you can give up your life for love, when you don't have any fear, you can just walk through. You realize you're a spiritual, electrical creature and a biological experience. You don't stop and stare at ghosts. You don't stop and let the news and the mainstream media give you that outrage. You just walk through that mother. You just keep going. Don't let it manifest, right? Remember, we are in the world, but we're not of the world. You got to keep these mindsets in place. Powerful, powerful. The other thing Sag Guru said, he said, what does a dog do? What does a dog do when it's peeing? When it's peeing on every mailbox, peeing on every tree? It's enlarging its kingdom. How's that any different from the Pentagon? Rothschilds, Rockefellers, they're just peeing everywhere they can. Matrix, because they're trying to pull you into their matrix. They're peeing everywhere. They're dominating. Why does America have 1,000 bases around the world? Because it's peeing everywhere. And y'all need to stop stop empowering people to pissing all over the planet, man. It's not yours. Dogs are trying to increase their kingdom, and governments, people y'all keep voting for it, trying to increase their kingdoms, peeing all over the planet. You know, other people gotta live here too. We don't smell piss everywhere. The whole world hate America right now. Probably the most hated effigy symbol on this planet ever in history is gonna be the American flag. Why? Because they pissed everywhere. We got ammonia all on the planet. Y'all stop peeing everywhere. Grow up, grow some consciousness, become more inclusive, include other people in your circle. Don't just be limited identity America. Can you pee on your own tree? Pee on your own tree. All right. Anyway, where y'all? Alan Watts is trying to teach people to be complacent and not think that they need to do. I missed it. It just went. You know what, Shiva? I don't know who Alan Watts is, to be honest with you. I think I've heard some of his talks before. I don't really follow anyone individually. I just search for topics and I just watch what I find. Because I don't really listen to music. I love music, but I don't really listen too much. I'm more into expanding my mind. So I don't really know what his intent is, but this is a good example. I really know what Assange's intent is. I don't know what Obama's intent is. I don't know what Bush's intent was. I don't know what Trump's, and I don't really care. Like what I care about is he gave a powerful tidbits, right? Like I take what I got from him and that's like a neuron in there and I connect it like a dendrite connecting to the other neurons. And because what he said is true and what he said is powerful. You know, he had a phenomenal talk on the game. You got to stop being game. So his intent, I don't really care about. You know what I mean? Like his intent is interesting. It's trivia to me, but it's just trivia. My interest is how can I use what people say? How can I use the powerful, amazing thoughts that all of these powerful, godlike creatures have all over this planet? Because they're all gods. Scripturally, what the scripture said, people are basically all gods. They're greater things that the God did that they're going to do, so it means everybody's a god. How do I take the powerful thoughts they have and experiences and utilize them to make myself better and transform the world? You know what I mean? So this is why I don't get into identities. And, I'll post things from like quotes from people and I get attacked. I'll post stuff from Gandhi and somebody's got something to say. I'll post Martin Luther King, somebody else got something to say. So I don't get into identity. Like I am identity exit. We limit our identities, but also the reverse of that, we invalidate people by our identity view of their identity. You know what I mean? So I don't know him. I don't really know what he's up to. Anyone watch Black Mirror on Netflix? Yes, Stacy, and I think we did a talk on Black Mirror. Everybody should watch Black Mirror. Black Mirror should be a mandatory watch for every middle school, high school, and college. We need to see theses on it. We need to see people who are really processing where the world is going. Taking that Alfred Hitchcock and what was it? What we used to watch when we were kids? Alfred Hitchcock and Twilight Zone. I don't know who did Twilight Zone. And merging that together with technology and how we're giving all power to corporations and technology and billionaires. And where's the world going if we continue to go in that direction? And the brothers in the UK and the sisters that put that together did a powerful piece of work. Powerful piece of work. That's why I say I'm not anti-TV. I'm anti-wasted information. There's a lot of great information that's coming out of Hollywood and Bollywood. You got to pick and choose and get the good ones. But that is an evolving show that really, really gets you to think. Do we want to keep going this direction? Do we really want to keep voting? Do we really want to keep changing our world with violence and conflict and removing people from our consciousness? Or do we want to go in a different direction, include more people in our consciousness? Do we want to keep trying to change the world by beating up somebody else and making them the way we want, invading their country, blowing up their nation, toppling their regime because we don't like how they think? Or do you want to let them evolve and go the way they need? And that's what I think we have to do. I think that's the formula. I think the formula is you fix yourself and you include more people in your consciousness, and they're not going to fit well with you. And you need to learn how to be okay with that. You need to learn how to be okay with other people having their own thoughts. I get inbox all the time. Why is this person your friend? And I love y'all to death. I do. You know, and I just ask people to kind of be more respectful to each other when you talk to each other, because I'm trying to learn. Y'all calling each other names out the book, this mother, that, flip, flop, flip, you know, all these cussing at each other and getting personal. And I just see it, and I don't judge people for it. I just see it, and I just realize that, you know what, I get that. You know, you've been through some things in your life where you think name calling, you think abusing people with words is profitable. And on this planet, it probably is. I mean, all crime is profitable. All crime pays. It always has, if you know the right people. You know, and I kind of just wash past that. People call me names, I just wash past that. I want to know what I'm supposed to learn from this interaction with this powerful creature who's locked inside this ignorant fool's body. Locked inside this identity fool's body. I don't let the identity bother me too much. I try to get to the depth of it. You know, the depth of who they are. Talk to every homeless person you can find. It's like, oh, here's another one. Sad Guru. Listen to what he was talking about. Some people won't listen to him because they're like, he has a beard and a turban. Damn it, he's my enemy. Listen, again, I don't care nothing about any of that. I pay attention to and I think anyway, he's like religion agnostic anyway. He doesn't pick a team, I don't believe. So he was talking about when you're talking to a guru, what does the guru see? Why is the guru kind of laughing at you when you go sit down and tell the guru about your problems? My kids don't listen to me. My husband, he's acting up. My wife, I don't know, she doesn't come home on Thursdays, you know, and the guru always kind of has a little bit of a laughter, a little bit of a smile in his face. He says, well, the guru's not laughing at you, he said. He said, the guru is laughing at God. The guru is laughing at God in him, pretending to be God in somebody else, because we're all one. We're all connected. We're all a part of that source, that God, that thing. We're all a part of energy. If you want to do the quantum physics thing, fine with that. Science, religion, however you want to look at it. We're all a part of the one. And he said the guru is actually kind of laughing because he knows that the guru in you is just another character in the Matrix. It's just another avatar. It's literally the God in him pretending to be a character in the Matrix. And he's laughing because he's just like, damn, what a great performance. But I don't think Sam's guru. I don't think he says damn, but I say damn. And it's damn, that's a great performance. Wow. How do you do that, God? Oh my goodness, you actually pretending to be somebody in the struggle? I'm believing you. You know, like I'm believing the pain. I'm seeing the tears in the eyes and the problems you got in the Matrix. I'm really believing this avatar. How in the world do you do that, God? That's just, I can't believe it. Like, and so he said the gurus kind of laugh a little bit because they know that it's just God in another creature. They know that we're all connected. And then they'll proceed to answer your question, try to solve your problems. But that's where my head was. It's a powerful, powerful thing. Lori, no, you ain't supposed to be pissing nowhere. Lori, control your bowels. What, you gonna piss on some ghostly work? All right, I'm gonna do comments somewhere. But if not anything else, why are we here? Why are we here? I don't know why we're here. You want me to tell you? Yeah, you asking the wrong person. I just know that we're not doing the things we're supposed to be doing tomorrow. Everything we do today is right. Everything we do today is where we are. Everybody's where they're supposed to be based on where the matrix has them. The question is, are we slowly removing those matrices for tomorrow? Our goal and our struggle is against ourselves. It's against our own perceptives and our own perspectives, and it's against our own limited. And so you're perfect today. You got to fix you tomorrow. That's where we're supposed to be going. That's the whole purpose. The whole purpose of this is to become an all-inclusive planet. Maybe that's too big for people to see. Maybe that's a vision people can't bite into, sink their teeth into. Maybe you just got to focus on being an all-inclusive community, town, a nation, whatever level you're on, But once we're all-inclusive and we're 7 billion, then maybe we're becoming all-inclusive in a solar system, in a universe. Is that Brother Walter? There are no aliens. Yeah, well, I think he admitted they're aliens, but there's nothing that's alien. We're all one. Everything's all one. We're just limited by technology. We're just limited by identity. We're just limited by all of the things that the Matrix needs to keep us to keep running in the wheel. Earth belongs to people who have, oh no, dang it. There you go. Earth belongs to people, I can read it. Earth belongs to, dang it. I'm trying to read, the comments are rolling up too fast. All right. Now I don't want y'all to not comment. You're supposed to comment because I go back and I try to read them and other people come back and read them, and that's important. So you got to take your neuron information and pop it in a comment. When it moves too fast, I can't read. That was Brother Anthony. I'm sorry I missed it. I'm going to have to scroll down. Y'all got some, oh man, y'all are on this morning. Rod Sterling, I believe, who made the Twilight Zone. Okay, Maggie, because we grow up on that, and that was huge, huge. What is a coincidence that you said game? When I was about to type that, it's all just a game. Enjoy the play. What a coincidence. Oh, well, Nora, well, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. No, there are no coincidences. Yeah, there's no coincidence. There's no coincidence. Quite literally, Nora, you are in my head right now, and I'm in your head right now, which is kind of a little bit of a creepy thing. To do this nonsense, you got this many people who actually are like focusing in on me. I hope no witches around you. Actually, I do. Y'all need to protect me. There's some evil forces out there. But as you're commenting with other people and you're focusing on other things, if we're all quantumly entangled, we're all one, we're sharing thoughts. There are no coincidences. You're not actually seeing matter and skin. Okay. I was going to hit the race thing. You're not seeing black. You're not seeing that. None of that actually exists. It's all fantasy. You're seeing wave energy. You are literally reading my thoughts right now. And I am literally not reading your thoughts right now because I'm not looking at you. And you're processing it. So to me, it makes sense. It's no coincidence. I don't understand it. I don't claim I understand it, but it makes sense. We just have to accept that there is no coincidence. Things happen how they're supposed to. Your subconscious is processing things that you can't even fathom right now, which is kind of part of Nora why I listen to some of my friends who believe in the theories of we're kind of choosing to be in a game. We get in this game, Earth. And we know it's going to limit our consciousness, but we don't have a choice. We know that we can't be fully conscious creatures on this planet, in this game Earth, to learn or do whatever it is we're supposed to do if we have full consciousness. And so your brain, it's biological and it's instructed to operate on a certain wave, so you only see certain things. Otherwise, what's the point? So I get it. And that kind of makes some sense to me, but I won't say that I totally understand it. Homeless people have amazing stories. Yes, Stacy, and why is that, right? Probably because people in struggles have the most amazing stories. People who have pain, people who truly have to tap into the consciousness that's not based in technology, right? Who truly have to tap into who we are, who truly have to go find out who they are, who have the time to focus and think deep into how they are in this world and life and how they got where they are. All of those things they help you to think. Part of why I think jobs are there. keep people from thinking, to keep you busy, busy work, busy bee, get you running here, running there. Didn't watch the news today, not interested. My world is actually what's around me. Like, I think we got to move forward with technology and look around the world and try to see what's going on so we know where we should be on certain issues by the silly people who are still playing politics, killing and struggling and robbing Peter to pay Paul and all that nonsense. But, you know, I do get that all the news that comes in, it's all perspective and it's all based in partial truths, all of it, everywhere. So part of why I'm not so worried about Assange, y'all, Brother Wolf, I'm not really worried about it, you know, because everybody's telling part truths. Whether he follows the living religion, working with the big intelligence of God. Okay, I don't know who we were talking about there. I love Muji too. Yeah, Muji is awesome. He's another one I tap into. I'm still evolving and shaking off indoctrination. That's so at first names hurt. It doesn't take long for me to realize them hating themselves. Ooh, go on, Susan. Go on. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that letting people be people, letting them be them. And you always taking a higher road, you erring on the side of righteousness, that you understand that it makes sense to them to cuss you out. It makes sense to them to try to hurt you. It makes sense to them to come after you. It makes sense to them to set up central banking. They were born a Rothschild. It makes sense to them to do that because it makes sense. We're in the avatar, they were born in this matrix thing. You know, the goal isn't to change them, it's to transform the matrix. The goal isn't to change the matrix, it's to get rid of the matrix by transforming the world. You know, and so you just gotta love people and just love them for who they are. Don't judge them for who they are. Just love them for who they are and move on. Get past the name and try to figure out why are you in this conflict with this person, and remove that limited identity in you that allowed that conflict to become a conflict. You know, like that's what I think it's about. When you include other people in your consciousness, you're literally protecting them from you. You are protecting them from your own identity, the identity that was given you, because it's not you. It was just a birth. We get so lost in bigotry. Jacques parenting videos are some of my favorites. Okay, Miss T, I got to take a look at it. I'm not sure. I've seen a bunch of stuff by Jacques Fresco. I haven't seen everything. Backstreet's people just like cattle, by the way. Yeah, Ish, this is very true, which is why you can't tell other people what to do. You can't inject them with things. That's a violation. It's violence. To me, that's just a lower form of rape. You can't actually hurt other people. You can't force them to take any of your products or be anything like you. That's why I say all government's a failed experiment. Let it go. One of the great examples of it. It's a violation of sovereignty. Humans are by far the least qualified to steward the planet. They absolutely are, Miss T. I think we're here to learn from the planet. I think we're here to learn from the monkeys. I think we're here to learn from the squirrels, and we're here to learn from the bacteria and the plants and the birds that no restraint. What if they're the higher forms of creatures? What if they're the ones who don't have bank accounts, so they figured out how not to murder a whole planet for the sake of power that they'll never have? I think we're here to be stewards, and a steward is a follower. A steward is an observer. A steward is one that does no harm, and it just observes. That's why I don't believe in any conflicts, because I don't think anyone really knows what's true. I think you're making it up, and you're pretending you know what's right, and you don't. If it involves violating another person, then we shouldn't be involved in that. When I'm honest and truthful, I never feel stupid. I accept insults, inquiries equally, even under provocation. Which, because you're an adult, Augustine. That's why. Well, all right, let's say it in a nice way. You're succeeding at adulthood. You're succeeding at maturity. You are succeeding in a place where too many adults fail. You're succeeding in realizing that everybody's different. Everyone's got their own communication style, and I don't cuss, but people cussing up a storm is a communication style, right? It actually works in their world. You're not in that world, and you're letting them be them. You're validating their experience. You're validating how they were raised. They came from a hood or a barrio or a ghetto, or they just had super wealth to a point where they could disrespect everybody that they came across, you know, and you're accepting that if you were born there in that way, with those parents, in that school, with that DNA, that you would literally be them. And to me, that's how you can include somebody in your consciousness is you validate who their avatar is, because you accept it's just an avatar. That person really actually is just you. It's part of you. And then you protect people from you. That's how you don't judge people, because you realize you're judging yourself. Everything exists simply to perpetuate and transmute existence itself. Absolutely. Kind of agree with that, Beaufont. A little deep, we're pulling on some stuff. But I think that's kind of why we're here, because we're doing this transmutation within the matrix, within another matrix, within another matrix. And the matrices keep getting created at lower and lower levels, because people who are in the matrix from above is convincing them that they need to control other people. So you create a matrix and you put all the people in that matrix because you want to control them. And our goal, I think, is to start breaking the matrices up and evolve up to a level where I don't know that we'll ever get out of the top parent matrix, but certainly the fantasy, the social matrices, right? The matrices that are based in power and domination and violation, the matrices that are based in politics and robbing Peter to pay Paul, the matrices that are based in hate and violence and abuse, the matrices that are so false that you have to steal and take another human creature's sovereignty to thrive. You have to teach hate within your matrix or pride within your group's little matrix. Use social media to connect with the like-minded individuals. Yes, Stacy, and use social media to connect with completely unlike-minded individuals. I think there's a balance, right? There's a balance, because I try to connect with people who think different than me. But if I didn't have a lot of people who were interested in the voyage of changing, transforming, it wouldn't be sustainable. It wouldn't be 10 years ago, I couldn't do this. 10 years ago, I didn't have enough of the people who were open-minded enough to move forward. You know, I had people who were constantly trying to hold me back and hold back. So I think you got to put together a group of people who want to transform, who have a passion to transform, a love to transform, those like-minded people. Then you have to start including other people in that are very different from yourself. Because that's how we learn too, is us interacting with them. There are a lot of good gurus like Alan Watts alive today, and they live similar to all gurus with entitlement. And the white guys, usually big drug addicts, manipulate a harem of ladies. Whoa, hey, hang on. Alan, towards the end of his life, he divided his time between a houseboat in Sausalito and a cabin in the mountain. According to the critic Eric Davis, in his writings recorded talks still shimmer with a profound and galvanizing lucidity. Okay. Well, you know what? In Shiva, and hopefully Alan wasn't one of them freakadicious people, freakadelics. But I can even understand that. I understand what power can do. It's just what power does. Hopefully he wasn't one, but that is where a lot of it happens. And not just white guys, black guys too, and it's yellow guys and orange guys. It's just power, right? Power and penis. That's all it's just power and penis. You have these things, you put them together, it's just a disaster. You don't want to link the two together. I don't want to link the two. That's why we need more of a matriarchal world. We need to push in that direction. Power and penis. Put two P's together, it's gonna be a disaster. All right. I gotta start to get out of here. Put two P's together and it's gonna be a disaster. But you know, take the intent of what they're trying to do, and when that other stuff kicks in and corrupts it, that's when you exit. Take what you need, get the hell out. Take what you need, get the hell out. You know, that's what we gotta get good at. Because we're all indoctrinated, we're all trapped in these biological beings, and we're all flawed, and at some point in time, we're gonna fail. That's why you don't trust people, ever. Don't trust any people, never trust the system. Listen to people, though. But don't get lured in, because they'll have you in some all kind of crazy robes and legs here and feet there, juice, jelly over there, and this, that, and the other. Next thing you know, the police here, what the hell? And some chickens. The police is here, some chicken, some blood. I just woke up. What the hell is going on? That's why I'm not in no commune. I'm not in the, but I'd love to do that. I'd love to like create like a little sustainable village type thing. I'm just scared to death of who's gonna show up. Because eventually it might get a little weird. It might get, you gotta make sure the rules and laws and guidelines and all that stuff is set up right. Because you get in those communities and oh boy, just wait. And the next thing you know, the FBI show up. Most people from Wisconsin are some of the friendliest people around. Yes, they are, Megs. I love country people. I love country people. I love friendly people. You got to have a lot of friendly people in your life. If you don't, life is going to be a lot more difficult. Surround yourself with more constructive people than destructive people. Surround yourself with more people who want to become better, not make the world worse because they think they're right. You know, you need to build a sustainable world around yourself, and it doesn't have to be in a compound called Heaven's Gate and with some Nikes and waiting for the alien gods to come. That actually is being exclusive anyway. It's not being inclusive. You want to be more inclusive. We want to build a world that's based in us being more inclusive and bringing more people in our circle, not backing out to a Cobb village, keeping people away. If I ever do that, which I'd love to do that one time, but like a little Cobb house village place thing, just try to bring people in. You want to include people. You don't want to check out. You want people to check in. I think that's how we change the world. It's how we transform the world. I got to change the way I talk. We need to change the world. We need to transform the world, transform the model, and then the world will go the way it's supposed to go, based in 7 individual billion different amazing creature, God, engineered electrical thingies in human bodies. But changing the world is that's that concept. You're right. You know how to do it, and you're going to do it by force. I'm going to get together with my political party, and I'm going to show you how to do it. We're going to force those people to do it the way we're going to give them that love that they need. And if they don't take that love, we're going to put them in prison. We're going to give them fines, and we're going to send armed people to their guns, armed people with guns and MRAP tanks and bombs and drones to their house to make them find love. They're going to embrace my universal health care, or I'm going to put them in prison. Oh, shoot. All right. You got to laugh about it. You have to laugh about it. I laugh about it because I was so lost in it. I was so lost in it. Oh, man, one minute in my life, I thought I was serving God. I had no idea what God was. I thought God was a book. God is not a book. The other time, I thought I was serving the human race by, we're going to give people love. We're going to ram it down their throats, and they don't take that love. We're going to kill them. I didn't really process what the CIA was, what the police state is, what the police do. I didn't really understand what laws are, what legislation is, that it actually is anti-freedom. It's anti-liberty. I didn't know what banks were. I didn't know any of that stuff. So I laugh at it, and after I'm not laughing at y'all when I post stuff. I like to do the gifs and stuff in comments because it's funny to me, and it's just me laughing at myself. It's me laughing at the fact that it took me 40 freaking decades to really understand what the Matrix was. And the movie like 20 years old. It's an old movie. It's not a new movie. It's not new. It's not new. And they were saying it way before then, 1984, George Orwell. Like, they've been saying this stuff for a long time. Most times, it's like the guru, and I'm no guru, but I'm kind of laughing because I look at what people say and I see myself in what they say. It's not, I didn't say necessarily what they're saying, but I see that same indoctrinated nonsense, that same identity nonsense, that same conflict, race, religion, nationality, all of the lower form subhuman concepts. And I laugh at myself and say, what the heck is wrong with me? Why was I so slow? Why did it take me long to figure out I was being played my entire damn life? Stop being played. You gotta stop being played. We live in a world where literally, people can't wait for Friday because they're slaves Monday through Friday, and they don't seem to know it. And the world they live in and struggle in the West to fill up their bank accounts are based in bombing other people and stealing what they got, robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's not a world to live in. That's not a world. That's a hell. We've all been played. Yes, we've all been played, and we're all being played right now. How can you not laugh at that? Like, you get somewhere with a thought, and you're like, oh, I'm on this pinnacle. I'm on this climax of a thought. And you think about it, nope, I'm probably being played right now. That's just how the world is. It's this human experience thing. That's why you have to say serious things and do serious things. Do very empathetic things and very inclusive things, and then laugh at it. Because at the end of the day, we really just don't know. We're still in the matrix, within a matrix, within another matrix, within another matrix. And the matrices that have to fall, I think, are the ones that are based in inhumane concepts, that are based in force and violence. And you'll never really see those matrices. It's hard to see them. They make sure that it's disguised well. Our brains are altered so that we don't see that frequency at birth, sociologically as well as biologically, metaphysically. You have to fight it on a principle level. And I think that's what that saying is. The fight is against powers and principalities, not against people and identities and nations and races and silly, lower thought out concepts. Look at the basis of what money is: power and control and domination over another person. This concept based in being weak and cowardly and insecure, so forcing other people to do what you want them to do by getting more human labor, slave dollars in a bank to control other people. Look at evils. You're bombing people, you're killing people, you're shooting people. I'm not going to agree anymore that these are good ideas. You're playing politics with me. You're getting me to abuse other people. You're stealing what they got. You're no more than a street thug. You might look like a politician, got a pin on your shirt, and nice $2,000 shoes, some gator shoes, but you are a criminal. You are a war criminal. You are a violent, gang mentality person who I love to death, but you don't need to be running anything. You don't need to be running a street. You don't need to be running a gang. You don't damn sure need to be in some sort of a political party that's designing the world. You need to be in an institution somewhere with a straitjacket on with rubber padded walls where you can't hurt anybody. We just need to call it, just come hug and love you, everybody. Just hug the Trumps and the Obamas. That means the Clinton and the Joe Bidens, but you hug Joe Biden, you gotta make sure his arms are like really tight. He might grab you in the tusk. He might grab something, might not need to grab. I laugh at it. Trump talking about grabbing him, he grabbed him in this, and yeah, he ain't the only grabber. Anyway, all right, enough. Listen, love y'all to death. Y'all have a great weekend. Learn to love people a little more. Work on yourself. I'll be working on me. You work on you, and include more people in your circle, and that's how we end the matrix. All right, gotta go. The power, fight the power. Don't join the power. Fight the machine. Stop becoming a cog within it. Stop fixing it. All right, gotta go. Y'all have a great weekend. I'm out.